So hello, my name is Peter.
And my name is Per.
And on behalf of our father, Paul Spilling, we thank you so much for this posthumous selection as an inductee into the Internet Hall of Fame. Our father would have been very humble and proud. On a day like this, there are many memories and anecdotes that come to mind, and we would like to mention a few.
After his PhD in nuclear science in 1968, his education was of no use, as Norway decided to exploit oil instead of nuclear power, so to speak. So he turned in another direction. At the Norwegian Defense Research Establishment, he got involved in computer science and data communication by Ingvar Lund, whom had the connection to ARPA. Together they worked closely with the ARPANET project. This led to Norway being the first country connected to the ARPANET outside the US, although closely followed by the UK some 20 minutes later, according to sources.
In 1979, our family moved to Palo Alto, where we lived for a year while he continued the internet-related work at SRI International. It was a year filled with wonderful experiences for the whole family. Another fond memory is from our years later back in Norway. NDRE was hosting an ARPANET meeting, and part of this was a lunch visit to the whole group to our 250-year-old farmhouse outside of Oslo. Our host came the first internet-connected home office in Norway, and maybe in the world, in 1981 with a 9,600 baud line. When he was out traveling, we used the terminal at home to communicate with him via the Talk application.
In the early days of the ARPANET project, most of the other researchers in the data communication field in Norway were not very interested in TCP/IP. Instead, they focused on the European ISO standardization work. This lack of interest was for several years quite frustrating. But finally, in 1983, the other groups got involved after he had established a TCP/IP-based network between the Norwegian Telecom R&D and the Norwegian universities.
In 1988, he got nationwide attention when he saved Norway from the first known internet attack by the Morris Worm. What he did was simply pulling out the plug in his office that connected Norway to the internet. The newspapers wanted a photograph of him with the plug, and the journalists decided the plug was too small to get public attention, so they ended up using a big printer plug instead.
In 2005, he attended the celebration of the birth of Internet, which included the unveiling of the plug at Stanford University, where the founding fathers of Internet are honored for their endeavors in the early days. It was a great moment meeting lots of former colleagues, talking about good old days, and of course, seeing his name on the bronze plug. Once more, on behalf of our father, Paul Spilling, thank you so much for this appreciation of his work and contribution to the birth of Internet.
Thank you.